Hey guys. Hey guys. They say hello. I am back here behind the corral, and I've been working this morning on the hay box. You can see I've got all the posts in, so the hay box will be about that tall, about 3 feet tall, and about 3 feet wide, and then this is about 20 feet long. So it'll hold about 8 bales of hay, and it's going to have a slanted roof on it as well that will open up with hinges so we can get inside. But they won't be able to get inside, and that's what we're looking for. I do have the posts in cement, and they have been setting up, so it is time now to go ahead and build the box around it. I have this old extension ladder that I broke into 2 pieces. I needed something to have the hay on to keep it up off the ground, keep it from getting wet when it rains, that kind of thing. So I was going to use pallets, but pallets were big and I have to cut them. I had this old extension ladder that didn't really extend anymore. I have 2 other ones that do, so I'm using this as the perfect thing to just kind of put the bales of hay on, keeps them off the ground. Let's get back to work. All right, it's not the straightest line in the world. All right, the bottom rail's on. Not any straighter, but that's okay. Now we've got all these fence boards, which is basically the same thing that's on the back. Well, not basically, it is the same thing. So I gotta cut each one of those in half and then go ahead and just screw them onto this rail, and the main part of the box will be done. 1 section done, 2 sections complete, 3 sections done.
1, 2, 3.
All right, all 4 of the main sections are done. We just have the 2 ends left. We're moving right along. I think it's only been like 2 hours since I started this, minus the posts. All right, ends are on. That part's done. So now Noah and I can put the hay we have in here. Now, like I said, this will eventually have a slanted roof, but for now, the hay can go in here and be covered by a tarp, and I don't think Daisy can reach it. We'll see. By the way, you guys know I always underbuy and have to end up going back to Lowe's or Home Depot to get whatever I didn't get. I will have you know that out of this entire thing, I have 1 $3 fence piece left. That was good. Slides right along the ladder like a little track, except when you hit the space between the ladders. Hold on. Yeah, it's better if you pull it.
Yeah.
Well, you probably jammed it. There you go.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Hi, Daisy. Okay. We got 4 bales in here. We got 2 orchard grass and 2 alfalfa. So this should be able to hold 8 bales. Probably 10 if we squeezed them. That was a lot of work getting them up the hill in a wheelbarrow. So I think in the last video I mentioned the reverse slide with the electric winch to pull the hay up. That's still being considered. However, a couple of you in that video, in the comments, mentioned just doing a pulley system with a cable from up here to down below, and then hook the hay onto something hanging from that pulley, and then use the electric winch to pull the pulley up so it's kind of in midair. And that would actually be cool, because if I could get it high enough, we could set it right here and then flop it in. If not, Noah had a good idea. He said we should have made this a door so it opens, and then we can just, push it in and on down. Pretty smart idea, Noah. So we'll see. We'll see which system I go with. I'm kind of leaning toward the pulley because it'd be a lot less work. It would be a lot less conspicuous. You really wouldn't see it, just one cable going down instead of a whole metal slide. So anyway, this project is done for today. There's no way that the that Daisy or the sheep can get in here. So I'm gonna just clean this mess up, and we'll worry about the lid another day. I'll cover this with a tarp to keep the sun off, even though there's not much sun in this area. Anyway, I'm tired. I'm gonna go inside. So next day, headed down to feed Daisy and Ollie and Otis. And it's so nice walking down here and not have to be carrying hay. Hi guys. Hi Daisy Days. Hi. Is that yummy? How about yours? Get some fly spray. So I'm gonna be working this morning in our tropical area, getting some trees planted. I laid out an extension cord, which is what I do a lot, to live with a certain path or bed shape for at least a week, to make sure this is exactly how I want it. So right across from the deck, I've got this green extension cord, which will be the start of the path down to the corral. And the path happens to be in the tropical area. So first of all, I don't want to see the pasture from the tropical area. I don't want to see the neighbors' houses from the tropical area. Now, eventually we're going to have trees along that far fence on the other side of the pasture, but it's going to take a long time for them to grow up tall enough to cover the neighbors' houses, especially since being up here on the tropical area, we're already at least 10 feet higher than the ground in the pasture. So that means those trees way over there would have to get 10 feet taller to block the view from up here. So, like in a lot of the areas around here, I'm putting green belts or hedges or something to kind of delineate where certain gardens begin and end, but also to control the sight lines from what I'm seeing in any given area. So in this dead grass area here on this side of the, between the fence and the raised patio area, parking lot, whatever you want to call it. I know I used to call this a parking lot because it was huge, especially with that hedge not being there before, like when we first moved in. And I'll always get people saying, why do you have a parking lot at your house? It just is big as one, that's all. So anyway, if you see the green cord on either side, it turns down that way. And on this side, there's going to be a bunch of green. I'm putting a lot of banana trees in here because they grow fast and they multiply fast. And they're going to be tall enough to cover everything over there. Now, around these banana trees are going to be other types of tropical plants. But what we're looking for here is just a green hedge of bananas that cover the pasture on this side. And this path goes down and gets right to the fence. Right here. So this area, I might move this back a little bit and have a bench here where we can actually sit on this side of the tropical garden and kind of watch what's going on in the pasture. But at that point, when this bed here disappears, this bed here is going to be wide enough that will take over the screening, that's a good word, from up there on the patio to out here. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. Let me get back up here, show you an overhead view. So banana screen back in the back, and in the front here we've got this pink silk floss tree. We've got another green banana, we've got a red Abyssinian banana, another green banana, and then I've got 3 giant bird of paradise, and then our rubber tree, Ficus elastica, I believe. Now that tree here in Southern California gets enormous. It's going to shade the corral. It's going to shade part of the tropical garden up here, which is exactly what I want. Where these 3 giant bird of paradise are, this is going to be the rock work for the waterfall. Now the waterfall is going to serve 2 purposes, maybe more than that. Number 1, it's going to be pretty and nice and tropical. But it's also, the sound of the waterfall is going to lessen some of the road noise. I've talked about before, we have nurseries on the street, and we've got trucks that drive, back and forth every once in a while, and I just want to kind of eliminate that as much as possible, and the white noise from the waterfall will do that. And then out here at the end of that hedge till about there, about 20 feet, is going to be a large structure that we're going to build. And initially I was going to do a larger version of the chicken coop at our last house. Put a picture of that right here in case you're new. I'm not sure anymore if that's the way I want to go. Thatched roofing is expensive. I found that out with the cottage. So I'm thinking kind of like a jungle outpost building, kind of like the Jungle Cruise at Disneyland, something similar to that, but we'll have corrugated metal roofing like the patio. So not only will it tie those two together, that's definitely cheaper. And then in the spot, the opening in the hedge over here, and then the above where we go down that path that I just showed you, I'll do a little thatching on some pillars to kind of make just an entrance way, and then bring in the thatch a little bit, but have it be a lot less thatched by. So today we're gonna get these bananas planted. Now I got these bananas. I brought a couple from our last house. Most of these came from viewers. A good friend of mine, Doug, the guy that delivers our hay, he brought me this one. This is a vanilla ice cream banana, and the fruit is actually supposed to taste like vanilla ice cream. So I'm looking forward to that. I had one at our last house, but we moved probably the year before it fruited, so I ended up leaving it there. The ground here though is super, super hard. I tried with a shovel last night just to give it a test dig, and I could not break the ground at all. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and put in the drip irrigation for the bananas, and then let that run for a couple of hours to really soak into the soil. And then this afternoon, evening, come back and plant the bananas in a lot softer soil. All right, it's a couple days later. It's already a warm, warm morning, and I got a lot done over the last couple of days. Ow! Gosh. She does not know how big she is. It's a dangerous place to let her get the zoomies, because when she's up here in the cottage garden, she'll just head right through the beds if she gets crazy enough. But okay, back to what I was talking about before. So when I left off last time, I was setting up the drip for the bananas, and that worked well. Let it run a couple hours that day, and it softened up the ground. I was able to plant the bananas real easily. Here they are, all in the ground. I can't even tell you how nice it is to see something other than dead grass here, just knowing how fast they grow, and that this area will, probably by the end of the summer, look completely different. So all those are in, and the drip works for them. And something I've been talking about a long time, I finally have a spigot down here for the corral. It does need a little reinforcement, but I was able to bury it and hook it into the water line up there. So now I can fill up all of the animals' water down here without having to remember to go all the way back up there and turn off the water, because I always forget. Sorry. See, just a little bit of green up there, just breaking up the brown. So another thing that needed to be done was to plug up the hole where Bella was able to sneak out of the pasture whenever she wanted to, which was right here between this wood post and the gate. She could shimmy right through there somehow. So what I had to do was just put up some T-posts and this fence, so it just blocks off the entire area that this gate, the big gate that we drive through, has to open up into here, so she can't get out now. And so I think the new plan, I know we have mice in the cottage, and then I just saw some bigger poops that I think are rat poop, which I haven't seen any sign of rats here since we moved in, just mice. I know we have voles in here as well who kind of burrow through. When I had the hay in here, they would burrow all underneath that. And so we really need our barn cat, Scar, who basically spends 99.9% of his time on the roof. Now I know he comes down a little bit. I've seen him hop down, and he's got to poop somewhere. There's no poop on the roof. So I want, and Scar was doing a great job at, you know, being a great mouser and killing squirrels, and even got a rabbit one time. But as soon as Bella showed up on the scene, he's been on the roof ever since. And so I'm hoping, because, you know, he sleeps during the day anyway, I'm hoping to keep Bella in the pasture all night long, which is where she hangs out anyway, but she does go back and forth, I'm sure. But when I wake up in the morning, she's laying out on the pad there by the future pond. And so I'm hoping by keeping her in the pasture at night, and once Scar realizes she can't get out of there at night, that he will, you know, start coming down and doing the job we got him for. And then Bella will be let out to roam the rest of the property during the day. The cottage garden needs to be deadheaded, and some things need to be trimmed back. That cherry tree is just amazing me with the amount of growth it's put on. The pear trees too. I mean, they've gotten a lot taller. They haven't kind of widened out yet, but this one's really tall. I mean, it's probably doubled in height just this season. And we still have a pear. The lawn is doing well. Oh, that's another thing I did. I hooked the sprinkler system up here for this strip of lawn and a timer for it. I put drip out here in this center bed and planted some of the tropicals I needed to get out of pots. So we've got some elephant ears and some canna. I put up shade coverage for our pepper bed to keep them from sun scald in the afternoon. And on Next Level Gardening next weekend, I will have a video out about pepper mistakes. So going through all the mistakes you could possibly make growing peppers, and if you avoid those mistakes, you get a great harvest. Update on my Tomato Challenge 2024 tomato. It's getting bigger. It's definitely bigger than when Chad was here. And then the rest of these are coming along. We've got paste tomatoes, and we've got my favorite tomato, which is Kellogg's Breakfast. This is the tomato that we overwintered from last year, so it's actually doing well. Our zucchinis are growing like crazy. We have so many of them. Yellow squash. This here is a jigsaw pepper. Look at the variegated leaves and the purple flowers. And then they produce tiny little peppers, tiny little purple peppers. I haven't eaten one yet. There's one. So my regular sweet potatoes are doing really well. They've grown so fast, as they always do when the weather heats up. And then I just planted these a couple of days ago. These are Japanese sweet potatoes. Arguably they're a little late. However, we don't get frost until like January. So the year before last, I put them in late as well, and we had a great harvest, so I'm not too worried about it. I found that squash that grow too big to be good eating for us are great eating for Daisy. So today I think is a vegetable garden fertilizing day, so I'm going to come out here and get that all fertilized. So yeah, that seems like a lot for a couple of days work, I think. I'm happy with it. I'm actually going to be doing a lot more experimentation on the Next Level Gardening channel Starting next year, we'll be showing the results, but we'll be starting the experiments this year. That's the thing, they take a while to do, right? You got to watch through a season to see if they're going to do well. The benefit of being subscribed to this channel in addition to Next Level Gardening is I'm going to be showing the process, kind of like a sneak preview of the experiments. Like I've already showed you the experiment here with the overwintered tomato. That won't be on Next Level Gardening till maybe fall, probably spring. I'm also going to start a new experiment tonight, or this evening. I'll be filming it on this channel to get it started. I've always been fascinated by people growing tomatoes in buckets upside down. Supposedly a lot of positive things from that. To me, it looks kind of like a fad. I don't know. But I'm going to be trying it so I can see for myself and for you guys if it's something that is beneficial. Some of the claims I just know are ridiculous, but other ones like space saving, yeah, it would be a great space saver. So that'll be on the next homestead video, getting that started. And then several other experiments that I'm wanting to try, showing the progress as it goes along on this channel, and then condensing all of that into smaller videos for Next Level Gardening next year. So that's it for this video. I will see you guys next time.